Hello, friends. Hope you're doing well. So, today I read a book by a guy named Stephen Pressfield. The book's called Turning Pro. You might know Stephen Pressfield from some of his other books. I think he's written a bunch of fiction. This big one, I think, is The Legend of Bagger Vance. But he's also wrote a really good nonfiction book called The War of Art, which, if you do anything creative, and you haven't read that book, you should definitely read that book. Turning Pro is a lot. It's like a sequel to The War of Art. But in it, it's a lot of the same kind of themes and riffs and on very similar takes, but there's bits and pieces in the book that kind of resonated with me a little bit, especially lately. It seems to be a message that I'm receiving from the universe. That's the most woo-woo way to say it, but it's something I've been noticing a lot all over the place, and I don't know if I just need to turn on my antennas to like what the universe is trying to send me, but it's this idea of returning to a simpler time and listening to Enya nonstop on a loop. But it's the idea that modern time, like, people are very anxious right now because modern society is insane, and like the fact that anybody at any time is 1 a.m. can call you or text you and bother you is unhinged, and you're just expected to respond in a relatively short amount of time. Like, it feels weird when you get a text and you respond like 3-4 hours later. Like, doesn't that feel, there's something in the back of your lizard brain that's just like, send. I didn't like how long that took. You know, it's I don't know what that is. And Pressfield talks in his book about how, when he was kind of an up and coming writer, and this obviously would have been a lot easier for him, because when he was an up and coming writer, the internet didn't exist, cell phones really weren't a thing. He just living with the seasons, and he didn't have a TV, and he didn't have a radio, and he just kind of lived in a cabin and wrote, and it's very Jack Kerouacian of him and whatnot. And he even references that in the book that he read. That book, it was like, I'm gonna live in a cabin and write books, and he talks about how the books he wrote were shit in that cabin. But the idea was to sit down like a professional and take your creative endeavor professionally, and kind of just ignore the distractions. And it's like, we've never been in a time where we are more distracted. And so I guess what I want to talk about is how are people doing this? How are people avoiding their distractions? I've seen the dopamine detoxes, and the idea of that seems intriguing, as far as like they don't use the phone and they don't eat the nasty foods that everyone knows are delicious. But I feel like I've coming to the point where a lot of those disgusting foods actually legitimately don't sound that good to me. And maybe it's because I've had so many health problems, the last couple years, and being diabetic and all that stuff. The idea of like getting a big greasy pizza does not sound as appealing as it used to, and I've kind of begun taking stock of how I feel after doing certain activities. And I've noticed that like I don't feel good after scrolling on my phone for an hour, watching the shorts and the reels and whatnot. And I don't feel good after I eat a big pizza. These things they're not giving me energy. And there's this concept that, I don't like this analogy, but there's this analogy about if you're neurodivergent, you have so many spoons per day, and everything you do costs spoons. You have to give up your spoons, and eventually you just don't have enough spoons to do basic stuff like your laundry and whatnot, cleaning. Excuse me. And so I don't like that. I don't like that spoon analogy, because it's just weird. Because it's like, even on my maximum spoon usage day, I'm using like 4 or 5 spoons. So I don't know who is using all these spoons and why that was the analogy they picked instead of like hit points or magic points or gas or battery energy, anything that makes sense, and that like it's a finite amount. out, and when it's gone, you have to recharge. You know, I mean, I suppose you could wash a spoon, but like, anyway, and so it's things, and not just Stephen Pressfield's book, but I also read there's a YouTuber named Ali Abdaal, and he has a book too, which is actually very good if you like productivity stuff without the hustle culture, like just work harder, bro, like bullshit. That's a very good book. It's called Feel Good Productivity. A+, highly recommend that. But you know, he's kind of riffing on that theme too, so maybe that's where I'm starting to get these, you know, that's where the energy, that's where the noticing is coming from. The selective memory is lighting up from this idea of, you know, living a simpler life. And I feel like the way to do that is to just start taking stock. You know, you think about like Weight Watchers, where you eat something and you keep a log, and it's like maybe it's that. Austin Kleon, who's another author I like, he wrote some books called like Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, and Keep Going, which is a very good book for dealing with burnout, especially for creative artistic people. But he has this idea of what he calls captain's logs. They are just like the Moleskine day calendar, like the mini. They're like 6x4. They're pretty small. But each page is a day, and then he kind of just writes the stuff that he did that day, you know, just broad strokes, as far as like watched this movie and like worked on this project and like ate dinner with these people, had this for dinner, just, you know, broad strokes, so you can kind of like refresh your memory, like, oh, that's what I did that day. And so I'm wondering if maybe it would be good to take that concept with like this concept and like the Weight Watchers concept, and you sort of just like write down the activity and then just kind of like plus minus equal sign, or I don't know what it is yet, as far as, is this giving me energy, is this taking energy, or, you know, like there's some things that are inherently going to take your energy, but maybe they're necessary, you know, maybe they're bureaucratically necessary, like me having to get health insurance. That has just been hurdle after hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, and that is just robbing me of energy, obviously. But there should be a way to note that, like, well, you still have to do it. You can't just cut that out. Like, fuck you. You know, like maybe if I had an assistant and I was rich, I could be like, hey, assistant, this sucks. It's your job now. Please go through this massive phone tree and figure out which buttons to push, and I'll tell you what to say. And that, you know, that is one of those things where it goes back to like the rich people have the same 24 hours in a day. They don't. They have assistants, and that saves them so much time. Anyway, so yeah, just trying to come up with that concept, and then obviously my brain gets lost in like scoring and tabulating, and like I had 17 pluses and 19 negatives that day, and then like over the last month it's been positive, negative. But I think, I mean, if you could make a spreadsheet, you could really kind of draw a bell curve as to like how energized you've been. And I think you could ask yourself, like, how am I feeling today? And actually, now that I think about that, my girlfriend turned me onto this app called Finch a long time ago, and I stopped using it because we were fighting over something, and I don't know why. So I stopped using it because I stopped taking care of myself because I was angry about something that I can't even remember, which is that's such a me dipshit thing to do. Is like I get mad about stuff, and especially like I'm holding minimum like 25 grudges against people whose names I don't fucking remember. Like, I don't fully remember their name. I just remember like that one guy in high school said that one thing about me and my best friend. Like, fuck him. Like, which this is probably not healthy. It's probably something I should talk to somebody about. But like, I don't know. In that app, it had, you know, like, how are we feeling today? Like, you would do like little check-ins. Obviously, this isn't a sponsored video, so I'm gonna log in for the first time. It says welcome back. That's my girlfriend's name. And then it's how. Okay, this is different. Why is it? Yeah. That's weird. Well, yeah. It's weird that it was like my girlfriend's name when it popped up. It's like, done. I'm trying to find this. I'll keep it private. Weird. Why? That's so strange. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. This is what happens when I pull out my phone while I'm making a video. I get distracted. But anyway, the app kind of has like there we go. So like, I don't know, can we see this? So it's, you got this stuff, and then you like do stuff in it. I don't I'm explaining it so badly, but it's like a okay, so this is a better screen, so let's pull this up. So you can like give it activities that you want to do, and it's your basic like your basic sort of, I'm trying to think of it's like what's it called? It's like Jerry Seinfeld has it. It's like a don't break the chain sort of thing. So it's like a streak counter, and that's just, you just give it the things you want to do every day, and then it gives you points, and it kind of gamifies. Like drink water, and you're like, okay, I drank water, and it's like, Ray, you gained energy points today. If I hold it by my face, you can read it, maybe. So dig deeper, and like you can do other stuff with it, and you can, I take a shower on there because I don't. If I'm not leaving the apartment, I usually don't shower, which is like a weird thing, but like. It's like, I don't know if I like taking showers, but it's just, I don't know, that's a whole other thing to unpack. But it's like, if I'm not leaving the apartment, it feels wasteful for some reason. It's like, that's part of it. Like, it feels, I think it's, part of it is like, there's a slight indulgence to it. Maybe I should take showers every day, because I like taking showers. I just don't like getting out of the shower. But if I have nowhere to be, then I can take a long shower all I want. I don't know. There's weird trauma in my head from past stuff. It's like, I used to take really long showers at home, and like my parents would give me shit for it. But it's like, after I play hockey, I want to take a 45-minute shower, deal with it. I want to sit down, take a shabath. That's where you fill the water halfway up, and then you take a shower, but you don't let the water drain until the water the bath just gets bigger. It's pretty good. You should try it if you have like a bath shower combo. It's I recommend it. This video really got off the rails. Like, it started like very impactful. Like, if I look at the chart, oh fuck the audience retention, I don't really care. It's just me yammering, which isn't that the whole point of these videos? It's just to like ramble about whatever the fuck, and then you fall asleep, and then it's good for everybody. Sure, or whatever. Anyway. Yeah, give this Finch app a look. I think it's like mostly free. They have like a Finch Plus, which I don't know what that does. Obviously this isn't sponsored. That was the best sponsored read of all time if this is a sponsored video. But yeah, I don't know, something. I think I don't really like apps for that sort of thing. I kind of like having pen and paper. Something about that kind of. And maybe part of it is just like knowing that this is psychic damage. Like, every part of this is psychic damage, and if you pick it up, just even to do your like fun check-in app, like, you're still going to be on it, and then you're going to be like, what's on Instagram? Just out of habit. So I think pen and paper maybe is a better move. Anyway, this video got off the rails, and now it's over. So sudden and abrupt. That's how I like it. Anyway, yeah, I hope you're doing well, and if not, download that Finch app, or get out a piece of paper and start tracking how you're spending your energy every day, or you doing things that give you energy, or things taking away more of your energy than you're getting back. And if so, how do you pivot? Figure out to carve that time in your schedule that just says like, no, I don't do that bullshit I don't do Zoom meetings on Fridays because fuck you. That's why. Because that shit just saps your energy super bad. I've had to do so many Zoom calls lately, and they all could have been emails. Not a single one of them needed to be a fucking Zoom call. It's aggravating. Honestly, please stop with the Zoom calls. I don't ever have time for a Zoom call. When you want time to hop on a quick call, no. This would really be easier to explain in person. That means you don't understand it yourself. No. Stop wasting my time. Figure out your shit. Then call me, and I'll come do your thing. Anyway. Catharsis. That felt good. I just rant for a minute. I'm trying to rant less, but I don't know. Sometimes the rant videos do really well. Should I rant more? Should I just be angry all the time? Weaponize your anger. Monetize your anger. I don't know. Anyway. Hope you're doing well. See you next time.